Okay, the music's going to get really sad here in a second because we're all really sad, right?
Who's really sad?
Y'all are really sad. I'm really
boy.
sad. Okay, so I'm back for the second time today, working double time with the podcasting. I've got JP with me, and Matt Crowder has joined us. Matt Crowder crossed over from our Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
You jumped dimensions here. And so is now discussing The Walking Dead. So
how are you guys even hearing coherent at like 7 a.m.? You guys are literally texting me at 7 a.m. I haven't even seen the episode yet.
Because my boss said, be there at 6 or you're fired.
Darn.
So I showed up, and there I was.
Crazy old Matt Doss texted me. So we want to know your thoughts about Carl's death. Being all slick because I'm all, the whole time I'm advocating he's going to kill Carl, which... By the way, I'm still not totally convinced we know who both of those bodies are. This was a very trippy episode. I think we can all agree on that.
So you think Rick's memory is skewed?
Well, a lot of this is taking place in Rick's mind, So you
think he's broken?
He envisions everyone getting bludgeoned at one point or another.
Yeah, that was pretty
true.
trippy. When that happened, I was like, oh my God. I think it was Rosita was the first in line of the not really bludgeoned, but... Going from left to right, I'm going to start with Matt and go to JP, because if you listen, there was a part one with Matt Doss, the other, and we will be whole next week, I promise. This is like, I'm like a divorced, I'm a kid with divorced parents here. I have to hang out with Matt in the morning and then JP in the evening, and Matt Crowder's just like the friend I brought along. It's just like, your dad's custody. Cool. So, next week we will be whole again. But so if you listen to part one, you heard some of my thoughts. So I'll spend more time on y'all's thoughts. Starting off, Matt Crowder, what did you think of the episode? Were you happy, disappointed? Was it good? Give me your thoughts.
What I'm wondering now is who's going to get on Maggie? Who's going to get a piece of that?
I know who's not. Daryl Dixon.
I think Daryl is actually
Daryl's not going to be digging.
Well, I have a question about Daryl. Do you think he's going to be so stricken by guilt?
I hope so.
That he is going to become Asian. Like he's going to take on.
He's going to get so stressed. He's going to take on. Is this a South Park reference?
No, I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were talking to the Shitty Walk. The Shitty Walk. Employee.
Well, he kind of already looks like an anime character,
right?
So
he really does.
why not? a man can become a woman can become a man, right? These days, it's 2016. Why can't he become Asian?
He very well could.
And Negan did say they had some great doctors, so.
I just, man, like I am not in the Daryl Dixon camp. I understand it was emotional, but hell on.
I've already forgot his name.
Right, he's dead to us now. Are you mad at Daryl?
No, I'm not. No, Daryl's fine. I still remember his name. What was the other guy's name that got killed?
No.
Oh boy.
So, what did you think of the episode? Were you happy with it? Were you?
I was honestly shocked at how I felt. Like, really? I was a little shaken up.
Did you expect those two, or did you? Who would you thinking going into it?
Well, I'm a curious person. So like I was online and on YouTube and looking at all these different theories and spoilers and whatnot, thinking that it's all just speculation. Right. And the rumors, pretty much the ones that I had seen, were exactly like the episode. Right. So right. It was like watching something I'd already read. Yeah. But at the same time, it was way different seeing it.
See, that was probably my biggest issue that I had said on the last podcast, was that the cat was out of the bag months ago. I mean, you guys make millions of dollars, and I know it's hard, but I feel like someone on that crew needs to be fired. They're leaking out everything. But so were you disappointed that you kind of already knew, or were you still happy with the way that it played out?
I mean, I was fine with it. It was great to see it. And I didn't know for sure. Mm-hmm. Like I
was hoping they will throw a curveball in there.
Like I read like spoilers or whatever, and it was all just speculation. There was no like confirm or anything like that I saw right. Anyway. But it was just what I was so surprised by more than the episode itself was just like how I felt when I saw that. Like it was very intense. And like I almost felt sick to my stomach there for a minute.
It's crazy how brutal that was. How true to the comics that they actually made Glenn's death. Man.
Oh, that's his name.
Panel to panel.
I
slept on it, and then I just I don't care anymore.
Oh man, well, moving. I loved Glenn. I absolutely loved Glenn. So I was not. I loved Abraham's death. I love the peace sign he gave Sasha. I love.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh yeah, go back. I'll show. Actually, JP and I were watching the scene again just to kind of get back. I'll show it to you after we get off the podcast. Yeah, right before Negan bashes him when he's doing the whole "you can breathe." If you look, Sasha looks at Abraham and he's doing this, which is what he did to her a couple episodes back. Through with a peace sign. And someone commented under somebody's video and was like, he knew it was going to be 2 deaths. It's like, well, obviously you don't watch the show that hard. But, I love the suck my nuts. And if you actually look, it's pretty heartbreaking because when he's like, you can cry, that's when it shows Abraham's face close up and he's got tears in his eyes. My God, I'm so depressed again. Why did I run myself through that?
He definitely took it like a champ, though.
Oh, my God.
When I say I don't care, I'm being facetious. But, like, at the same time, we got to move on.
Right.
We got to move on.
We've seen Glenn die before, and it still hurts.
Man, that's one last Abraham stab at Rosita. She's standing there crying, too, or kneeling there crying.
He couldn't give her a peace sign.
Yeah, he doesn't give her a wink or anything. She gets nothing. All that time they spent together.
He was flipping her off with the other hand.
Oh,
it's like, deuces. Well, JP, moving to you. Yes, you. What did you think of this episode?
Like I said, it was very, very trippy. I think that all that fog and the zombies, I think the fog was all in Rick's mind.
Think so? I thought it was like left over from the fire.
No, it was all in his mind. Because like I said, he can't cope with the fact that Carl just got his head bashed in.
Like some Silent Hill type-ish?
Yeah, his mind is in a fog, and he's just like, whoa, what is going on?
It was literal and metaphorical.
Yeah. No, it was just metaphorical. It wasn't actually there.
So you're not willing to accept that Carl didn't die?
Dude, Carl died. And when...
I don't think so.
When Negan is talking about, look at Big Red over there. He's literally Big Red, yada, yada, yada. What he's really saying is, look at the kid over there. But Rick is hearing Red. So,
I mean, there's some fan fiction people that
it's
listen.
Not fiction. This
write us some
was
fan fiction where that's brilliant, though. I mean,
it was entirely in Rick's head.
So will Abraham be alive, and from now on, will Rick be very kind of oddly fatherly to Abraham? He's like, Coral, I'm not Coral. Get here and go to bed.
Abraham's going to kind of be like an apparition in Rick's mind, and everyone's going to be like, who is Rick talking to over here? What is he doing? But the funniest thing of this episode, when Rick is up on top of the RV and Negan's down there kind of talking to him. Did you see where Rick was? He was right by the bathroom vent. Negan's taking a dump as he's talking to Rick up on top of the RV. That's why he's got that grimace on his face.
I don't think we watched the same episode,
dude,
or maybe even
crazy.
the same show.
Crazy. He's literally shitting all over Rick. I mean,
so what do you think? Do you think Rick's really broken, or do you think that he's just kind of? I mean, I think obviously he was petrified when he thought he was going to have to cut it. Which, by the way, I said it the last podcast, but I think the acting in this was it not freaking phenomenal on both Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Andrew Lincoln's part?
Yeah,
I thought Andrew Lincoln was fantastic.
I totally believe him as Negan. For sure.
Yeah, I think he does good. I just wish they would have beefed him up a little bit. That's my only complaint, which is it's very, small in scale because his acting is great and he is menacing even though he's not, but
yeah. I really like the neckerchief too.
Yeah.
That's really nice. That's a nice touch.
He has got a perfect smile. Did you guys see those pearly whites?
Yeah.
To be in the zombie apocalypse, he's staying on top of his oral hygiene.
He had the fop in his hair.
Yeah.
He had it slicked back. Oh, yeah, he was on point. But
Dapper Dan over here.
Andrew Lincoln's acting, I thought, man, like he just does, like I said last time, he doesn't have to really say anything. He makes you feel what he feels with it. He's a very good, facial actor. Like, he doesn't have to say things in order to make you feel, And,
in past seasons, I've thought he's been kind of cornball in certain moments. But, I mean, this, I've totally bought it. I felt his angst.
As he tried to block out Carl getting bludgeoned.
Yeah, in his mind he saw Abraham die, which is still a good friend. I mean, not like his son, but
yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath on that one.
I'm telling you, man, that's going to be like the big ongoing Rick arc of this season.
So were you disappointed this episode? Did you like it?
Like I said, it was real trippy. I know that much, and I do love to trip. So yeah, it was pretty good. It was all right.
I hated that most of us knew who was going to die. Like they had said that was leaked spoilers, and the script itself leaked a while back.
Oh really?
The actual script, and I read a little bit of it because I thought there's no way this is really the script, and actually was like a play-by-play of exactly how it played out.
Justin, you kind of called something in one of our last episodes. You said the whole, like, from the comic book, the Negan-Carl dynamic might take place with another character. I guess that'll be Daryl now because he's got Daryl. So he's going to
be a lot of things are about to get creepy on The Walking Dead. Rick getting very fatherly to Abraham.
Not only that, when
Negan and Daryl having a semi-homosexual man-child relationship.
When Negan was talking to Rick in the RV, I thought he was literally getting ready to sexually assault him. He's like, you are mine now. I mean, I think before they stumbled back out of that
Prison
RV,
rules.
Yeah, I think he cornholed Rick before they came back out of there.
I really liked how he got to Rick's mind, though. Like, I thought that was brilliant. The whole, he took him, made him get the axe and all of that. And it's cool to see how things come around, because remember, if Aaron would have broke the chain that they hung Homeboy on, he would have had that to hold on to. And I thought it was really cool. It was really a good way to show that Negan isn't just so much about physically intimidating at you as he is mentally making you his bitch.
Well, he's kind of like the Joker to Rick's Batman.
He really is. Really, yeah.
Not to mention, remember the last thing Negan said to Rick before they stepped out of there?
Is this still something about Carl?
He handed it.
It wasn't Carl, JP. Let it go.
He handed
Carl
Rick
is
the
alive.
hatchet, and he said, take it. And then it's a few minutes before they get out of the RV. He said, take it, and Rick took it. And
like right now, JP's walking through one of those dream
just saying,
states.
we're
that
assuming
Rick was
all
in.
Rick took was the hatchet, but he...
Daryl's just hiding under one of the trucks. I mean, not Daryl, excuse me, Glenn. He just, when he started swinging, he slid slowly, and he accidentally started beating one of his henchmen and didn't realize it.
Negan raped Rick, and Carl is dead.
That's not how this episode played out at all.
That's exactly what happened.
Oh, some fan fiction there.
And Negan took a dump in the RV while Rick was on the roof.
I do imagine him firing up at the ceiling while taking a dump, though, when he was shooting through the roof of the RV.
Well, see, all right, so maybe I'm just seeing things, but there looked like there was a hole in the top of the RV. Like there was a little square that he was laying next to. I thought he was just going to climb down in that way.
Right.
That would have been smart. Smarter than jumping onto the zombie.
It looked like it was open.
It could have been.
But maybe I was watching on my iPad, so...
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at that. I can't wait to show you the peace sign, man. That's going to give you. What about that flash? The what could have been, vision Rick had, dude. I am not emotional, but man, that was so sad and so pretty, and then it sucks because it's never going to happen.
Yeah, I turned into a crybaby Walker.
Yeah,
when that scene.
That baby was
a single tear.
That baby was super Asian too. Like that did not look like a mixed baby. That baby was just straight up.
It's my baby.
I think that but that was so sad, man. And him and Abraham kind of look at each other and don't throw nothing sexual into it.
No, of course.
There's no sexuality.
No, of course. Rick definitely didn't get raped. Take it, Rick. And then just
with a barbed wire bat on top of that, man, I can just see some
sick sodomy. I know.
Ugh.
That barbed wire was wrapped on that bat pretty good too. Mm-hmm. It looked like it was done with purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think JP is going to be really disappointed this season as we march through in Carl. So in your mind, every time you see Carl, is that actually Abraham?
When you see Carl...
What if he hooks up with Enid?
Enid's not going to be hallucinating, though.
So she's just hooking up with Abraham.
Carl and Abraham this season, they're still going to be on the show. They're just going to be apparitions in Rick's head. That's how it's going to play out.
I'd be cool with them popping up as apparitions,
So at the end of the season, Rick is going to wake up from the coma in the hospital.
Oh, my God. That would be... oh, my God. Thank God Robert Kirkman already said that's not going to happen, which they lie a lot on this show. They're constantly saying, oh, yeah, because Abraham had said, now we get to see a world where Negan and Abraham live together, and sadly, we do not.
I think my favorite part, though, was just seeing Eugene sitting on his butt with his face in his hands, just sobbing. That
made it harder. I mean, it's so convincing.
He couldn't even show his face.
Yeah.
My girlfriend called it, too, when we were watching, how they'll play the episodes leading up to the premiere, and we were watching the finale. And she said it. She was like, it's almost like everybody thinks this is like Eugene's goodbye when he was taken off on the RV. But really, it honestly seems like he's just getting the approval from Abraham he was never able to get before before Abraham dies. Because, and I was like, yeah, man. And then Abraham took it like a champ.
Well, when they first captured him in the season 6 finale, it was almost looked like Rick looked at him accusingly.
Oh, he did. I thought the same thing.
Like, you sold us out, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, and it's like, no, he didn't. No, not Eugene. So now they're going to get back, and Rick's going to beat up. I really do hope Daryl has guilt trips.
Yeah.
like badly. I'm just so angry. I know people are like, don't blame Daryl. It was emotional. It's in his nature. He always do. Still, though, you knew there was nothing that was going to come of that. Nothing. Oh, you got a sucker punch in.
Yeah.
Woo, man. I mean, if nothing else, maybe if you were hiding like a sharp stick and you stabbed him in the throat and, something, it just, man.
I don't think Maggie blames him necessarily.
She should.
I think she is more concerned about Negan.
Well, in the comics, she slugged Rick, and I was really hoping, Daryl wasn't around, but I was hoping Daryl would catch that right hand.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. Like I said, I think he's gonna be so overwhelmed with guilt that he's gonna adopt, Glenn's Asian heritage. Oh, Maggie.
But see, that's the thing. Is Glenn wasn't even really that Asian. Glenn, I don't, man.
But she loved his spring roll. What can I say?
I wonder. I really. What do you see? So, what do you see this? I think next episode we're going to be at the Kingdom. I think that was a sneak peek we saw was with Carol and Morgan. And I'm still waiting. So many interesting theories come from JP. I'm still waiting to see if Morgan and Ezekiel are going to hook up. Being that Michonne, who was their lovers in the comic, their lover in the comic, is now taken. And Rishon,
like I said, I think Ezekiel
JP
is actually
hook up.
Victor Strand from Fear the Walking Dead. That's another theory of mine.
Hey, you got to think Fear the Walking Dead happened a little while before The Walking Dead. I mean, he aged fast, but I mean, look at Barack Obama. At like 2 years, he looked like he had aged like 15 years. So perhaps the stress of constantly being chased by zombies makes your hair get gray and you age fast.
Sure, but I really hope since Michonne and Ezekiel are going to hook up. Because she's with Rick, I don't think it's going to be Carol. I really think it's going to be. Morgan.
You think it's going to be Morgan, not Carol?
Yeah, Morgan and Ezekiel. Two strong black men, just with love in their hearts.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not judging. Hey, it's love. It's love. Whatever floats your boat, man. Maybe Aaron. Maybe Aaron's going to come in there and just be like, hey. I think any death predictions as we get into this season, like anybody, I think Aaron's boyfriend is going to die. I hope I don't think he's going to die, but I do hope that we see Jesus. I guess this isn't really death, but what I hope to see, Jesus hopefully will have a more dominant,
I'm sure he'll have a bigger role,
recurring role as we get into it.
Especially with the communities starting to come together in some capacity or another. With the Hilltop, and you have now the Kingdom being introduced.
How do you, JP? How were you? Let's just pretend that. All right, we're going to play here. Let's pretend Abraham did die.
All right.
Were you happy with the Abraham and the Glenn deaths? I mean, do you wish it was someone else, or do you feel it was? Are you happy with it?
Well, I mean, in this alternate universe where Negan actually killed Abraham. I think he did the perfect thing because Abraham's the muscle. He took away Rick's muscle. I mean, Daryl's kind of muscle too, but now he's got a bullet in his gut. Glenn's the heart of the group. He stabbed him in the heart. So, I mean,
right.
All that's left is the group's balls, and that's Daryl, and he took them with him. So.
Other than Carl, is there anybody you think would have been a better suited death? Or do you think that was the best, that was what they should have done? Oh. If you were running the show, is that how you would have done it?
Yeah. That's
how you would have done it. Yeah. How about you, Matt? Is that who you feel, or let's say you were in the director's chair and they're like, all right, we want you to do this. Who are you killing and why? Would that have been who you would have done?
It's hard to say. I think the first person I would have killed is Aaron.
Aaron?
I mean, who cares?
I'm the only one. I'm like, man, I like Aaron. I mean, granted, I know that he hasn't had enough of screen time to really grow per se, but I like his character.
Yeah.
He's one of the few, just genuinely good guys.
I think he should have been at least the second one.
Think so?
Instead of Glenn, maybe Abraham instead, or I don't know. But anyway, he's not a really big character on the show.
Right.
I mean, he has an important role, sure, but
that literally would have been gay bashing. He would have been bashing a gay man. The most literal case of gay bashing we've ever seen.
I really wished that it would have been Maggie, and not because I dislike Maggie. I actually really like Maggie. Mm-hmm. She's definitely one of my tops. If I had to make a list, I really like Maggie. But it's Maggie, the comic thing was, it took Glenn dying for her to become strong and independent and all of that. Whereas she's already been that way in the show for a while. She just, has had Glenn, but she already made the deal with Gregory and about Negan and started. So I would have loved to have seen. It's like I told Matt Dawson. In my mind, the perfect scene would have been like he beats Abraham to death, and maybe Glenn or Daryl jumps in like they had it. And actually, this is how I said it was going to go before the show, and it didn't. So, but like one of them jumps in, and so remember the gun he tucked that he had from Carl. He took it from the finale and tucked it into his belt. Pulls that out and points it at Glenn, and it was like, I told you only get one, so now somebody's got to pay. And he looks at Glenn and says, I think it should be you. And while he's looking at Glenn, he just turns and pow, like he makes you think he's going to kill Glenn, and out of nowhere whips it around and shoots Maggie. And then instead of seeing Maggie become what she basically already is, you could see Glenn go down like maybe a dark path, or
he definitely would have.
It'd have been cool to have seen how it would have played out opposite. But I see why they did Glenn, because it was iconic in the comic book, and you really couldn't.
And Negan's just too much of a gentleman to do that to a lady.
Well, he's not.
He kills ladies. See, that was one misconception. People that I've heard podcasting and talking about, they go, "Well, we know Negan doesn't kill women. Do you remember Holly?"
Yeah, as far as like that,
he doesn't rape.
That dynamic, though. I mean, the saviors are like it's a sausage party.
Right.
Let's face it. So like he's not going to kill off any women, at least not.
Until you get back to the sanctuary, then you get to little Negan's little playroom. Which is why Dwight. A lot of people think that Sasha might take Holly's place. Remember Holly in the comic?
Man.
She Negan had kidnapped her, and if you don't read the comics and you don't want this to be spoiled, then just like close your ears for the next 20 seconds. But so for those of you that don't care or have read, Holly. It was Abraham's girlfriend that he left Rosita for in the comics.
Sure.
So after Abe dies, Negan and them capture Holly. I can't remember how.
Thinking that she is Rick's girl.
She's Rick's girl. So then a guy's trying to rape her, and Negan comes out and kills him because of all things, he might be a murdering psychopath, but Negan does not put up with rape or any sexual crimes.
That would be great if they displayed that in the show.
Yeah, and so then they put Then he talks to Holly and is like, "We're not that bad of people." But then the next scene, they're dropping her off with a bag over her head, and she's been killed. I assume Negan did it.
Yeah.
So they think Sasha might take that.
And for like all 10 people who watched Fear the Walking Dead, they actually use that in one of the episodes. Remember, they're doing the hostage exchange?
Did do that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because they killed him. Yeah, wow, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think everyone did.
I'm trying. Which I actually heard this last season finished up okay.
I want to finish it up. I haven't got around to
get back to it. If you listen to our podcast, we actually were podcasting about that, and all three of us got so bored that we actually just quit. But we plan to try to get back to it.
One thing I want to mention too is how many times he just didn't stop hitting.
Oh my God, man! Yeah, I think that was the whole just overdrive. Each character shuddering every time he.
I mean, it was just it was so violent, which was I think part of. I knew that it was going to happen. I mean, I'd read the comics. I'd seen that scene before, that iconic scene with Glenn with his eye popping out and all that stuff. But just seeing it live, I guess,
right?
And
it was disturbing.
It was slightly disturbing, but it especially just him kept on hitting. Until there was nothing left.
And the bloods, it just, to me, it was haunting just hearing, even when it wasn't showing Glenn, him just sitting there trying to talk. While Negan's apologizing to Maggie, pretty much, man. I mean, but I told JP, I applaud them for how they did, because when he hits him across the jaw. Well, no, maybe it was before the jaw. But if you look where he's leaning over with the baseball bat behind his back, and he's like, are you still in there? I can't tell. It sounds like you're trying to say something. That's straight from the comics. Even the pose of the bat behind the back sitting straight up, and then the very next shot went right across his jaw. So they did a good job of following the comic, bringing that to life.
No doubt.
Again, I still would have loved seeing Gareth Dillahunt as Negan. But
they allowed Glenn another line, too. Because I think in the comic he just says Maggie.
Yeah, I don't think it says I'll find you or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is a good segue to another question. What do you think that meant?
I mean, I think it just meant kind of like that I'll always love you, So he'd said it to her before, I guess, or they had found each other so many times before.
Right.
It was just like, I'll see you later.
And so, just so casually, all right, I'm going to die now. Bye. What do you think it meant? Do you think it was just like the ramblings of a bashed in brain? Or,
Yeah,
or do you
I think it was just brain droppings. He could very easily have said, "I'd like extra cheese on that." I mean, it was just he just had his skull cracked. I mean, there's no telling what he might have said. Pure coincidence.
I like to. That's what I originally thought that what JP is saying is what it was, but I want to believe, because I liked Glenn so much, that there was some like the I'll find you like in this life or the next. I'll find you again type thing, which just makes it so much sadder.
I mean, if they really wanted to go that route of him just being like brain dead, they could have just changed the line to just about anything.
Just move
Where are my keys?
you could have just had him what did you say? I want extra cheese on that?
Yeah, because he was a pizza delivery boy after all, which I guess he wouldn't order a lot of pizza, being that he works at the pizzeria. But it's probably something he hears a lot, maybe. I don't know. I mean, you have to think on that.
That is awesome. Yeah, I'm with Matt. I like to think that there was some substance to it. But initially, when it happened, I thought exactly what JP was saying, that it just was some... Because, like you said, they've lost each other so many times that, he was just kind of like, I'll find you. But I don't know, man. It was heartbreaking. And then the what could have been, again, man, that just was so sad.
Well, at least there'll be a little piece of Glenn still carried on.
We hope. I mean, she's in the middle of what could be a miscarriage.
Well, they already do. Judith in the comics died. Yeah. So, again, spoilers if you don't read the comics.
I find it hard to believe that the show would actually kill a child like that.
Well, if it's in her belly, though, like I don't think they'll kill the infant, but I don't think they'll kill Judith, but they'll have Maggie will have a miscarriage or something, because that's, it's like, all right, we got another baby, which is already a milestone we've accomplished in the show here, because I think that was the significance of Glenn and Maggie's baby, was that it was like the first baby that actually was doing well, that it was growing up and everything was going good. So it's like, well, here's another one, but you never know, they might have two babies.
I mean, let's face it, Glenn kind of he dodged a bullet, really. Because, I mean, as soon as she had that baby, she would have turned into Nagy.
Yeah, this is true.
Oh, man, I got to give you one of these. Oh, I didn't play. What? Hold on. You know what? For those of you that... Actually, no, that's for JP. That's JP's You've Gone Too Far. So I apologize for the confusion in sound effects. I was just...
that was a bit far, but not too far.
Matt, I was just going to give you a... but I get kind of twisted up there on the controls. But no, that actually, for those of you wondering what the hell you just heard, that was when JP says something a little too...
When does that happen? What are you
more
talking
often
about, Matt
than
Doss?
I think. more often.
I think I've kept it pretty PC today, all right?
You have.
I think so. I mean, I said sodomy once. I mean... I still stick that Negan molested Rick or something. Something happened in that RV that we do not know about.
Mm-hmm. So in your mind, that we watched a completely different episode than JP here did.
So.
Like there was baseball butt rape, and
I think maybe
Carl
you guys
died.
had a few drinks before the episode started. I don't know. I'm a small town businessman. I go home, I sit down with my family, I watch quality programming, whatever though.
A lot of people very like my mother was in there watching it and just was like, I'm done. Like, I am done with this show. I am out. I got so mad though. Like, I was cussing. My dad was like, you do realize this is a show, right? Because I'm like, Daryl, like when they had Daryl on the ground with the crossbow, Dwight's like, you want me to do it? You want me to do it? I was like, yes, kill him, punish him. Please don't do what I think you're about to do. And then wham, Glenn gets killed, and the whole time I'm like, I hate Daryl. Now I still have a Daryl Dixon like original sticker like in my car, one of those little stickers of him with the crossbow. When I go home, blow dryer, that thing is getting... I'm going to use my heat gun or blow dryer.
You could get like the Ghostbusters things where it's a circle and a line through it.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
So I have a theory about what you saw. Were you switching channels as you were watching
No.
this? Did you happen to stumble upon American History X rape scene? Like,
No.
or
I
maybe
thought-
Pulp Fiction? Like you were.
I thought it was pretty cut and dry. You're mine now. Take this. And I mean, certain things were cut out that we didn't see that I'm sure they'll reveal later on, but
So Rick's memory just blocked it out.
Wow.
essentially.
well, I mean, Rick's mind is just a jumbled up mess right now.
mean,
he doesn't know his son's dead.
You think he's going to start taking phone calls again?
Glenn and Abraham's minds are jumbled up messes.
Oh.
It's Oh, man. You're talking about him getting bashed in with the ball bat.
I am.
That's what you were saying. That's not cool, especially since Abraham's.
Brains are all scrambled.
Oh, boy.
Which one was saddest for you guys, Abraham or Glenn?
Definitely Glenn.
Glenn was a more powerful moment for sure.
Glenn, at least Abraham had some of his head left.
And other than the little time he had to say "suck my balls," he seemed to go a lot quicker. One whack, suck my balls.
Do you think
bam, he was gone.
Do you think that line was good enough? Like suck my nuts. Like I mean,
it was fitting for the character. I mean, if it was just somebody random like Carl, would have been like "suck my nuts." No, I'd have been like, "All right, that was stupid." But for Abraham, that makes sense. This is the same guy that said "bitch nuts" when they saw the
right.
saviors blocking their path.
That's just more evidence, though. It was such a juvenile thing to say because it's from a teenage boy. Abraham would have been like, "That's the best you got."
So this just in, Carl
is dead.
Actually died.
So, like, if you guys are in that position, what would be your last line of defiance?
Man, I mean, mine's just plain Jane. It probably should be a you. Or one of my favorite lines to tell people, and I don't know why it's so old, but it's so simple and to the point. It's just eat shit. You know what I mean? Like that probably would have been my line as he, because he's like, oh, taking it like a champ, blah 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 blah. I probably would have liked to look at him and be like, just eat shit, or or just get on with it.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, JP? What would your last line be?
Probably be Jesus take the wheel. That'd probably be it for me.
Would you sing it or would you say it though?
It would depend on the moment.
Jesus.
I probably would have sang it to Negan to kind of create a diversion, but I'm telling you, man, if Rick is just so out of his league. Like if Walter White, if he had been the leader of this group, the RV would have been lined with C4. He would have had a remote detonator, and he would have been like, "Look, Negan, you guys either back the F off, or this is going to be a crater. We're all going down."
And then a machine gun would have popped up from one of the trees.
I'm
and
saying
picked off
Walter
the
White
stragglers.
did not believe in a no-win scenario, and Rick's just, too big for his britches, walking into stuff he doesn't even know about.
So this was like Rick's Kobayashi Maru.
He didn't pass, that's for sure.
Walter White found himself in a very similar situation.
Yeah, and he got out of it.
The desert scene with Hank was very similar. They were tied up. They were merciless. They were at the mercy of ruthless killers, and unfortunately, Walter White didn't come out on top until the end. He wasn't able to
until the end
to save a certain someone.
Yeah.
If you've never seen that show, but. If you haven't, I don't know where you've been. Go watch Breaking Bad.
Somebody snapped at me for spoiling that the other day, the Gus Fring death, and I'm like, there's like a statute of limitation on spoilers.
Oh, no doubt,
okay?
man. It's been
like
years
3
now.
years. Get out of here. Never talk to her again. That much I can tell you.
I didn't realize, it's completely off track, that the guy that played Gus, have y'all seen The Jungle Book yet?
No, but I really want to.
Okay, well,
The
he
live
did
action?
the voice. Yeah, he did the voice of one of the wolves.
Oh, boy.
And Idris Elba, that's doing the guy that's going to play Roland, actually did the voice of Shere Khan, the tiger. Like, it was a lot. Ben Kingsley did the voice of Bagheera, the panther, and then of course Bill Murray did. I mean, the voice talents were awesome. So that's not Walking Dead, I know, but the voice acting in the Jungle Book.
Speaking of Idris Elba, I just saw Zootopia the other day.
Oh, was that good?
Wonderful?
Was he in that?
Wonderful movie. Yeah, he was in that.
He also does that song "Dance Off" with Macklemore, which I'm not a Macklemore fan. So
I'm not aware of that.
it's like that's the only part of the song I like, and it's only because I like Idris Elba. And before that, I didn't even like the song until I found out it was him. I was like, okay, well, I like his part, but Macklemore's.
Do you think if you got hit in the head hard enough, like you would shit your pants?
Oh yeah,
Like,
one of
do
the
you
two of
think-
them shit their pants.
Yeah, like after the first whack.
Oh yeah, yeah. You just, it jolts everything. You know what I mean? It just, oh damn. And at that point, do you really care?
Like if they had just like edit. So I hope somebody out there, whoever's listening, if you're capable of editing video and sound, like please insert a fart after.
Just South Park it. Like when he drops down, it's just like.
I'm just
Or
going to
he
say,
gets hit in the head and Abraham just like farts.
Abraham
Dude,
looked
we can make
constipated.
that. We can make that. We will make that.
That's great.
Abraham looked constipated through the whole episode. I think Negan did him half a favor, honestly.
Each whack just
Yeah.
see the blood squirt up.
Gosh, we haven't even talked about Rick's delusion that Negan was going to cut Carl's hand off.
All right, look. All right, I'm trying to think. All right, we've been so focused on the deaths here. We hadn't really discussed the rest of the episode.
That was another wild hallucination.
Overall, I thought the episode was awesome. I loved seeing the lineup from Rick's point of view. When he's looking to the left and then he looks to the right as Negan's doing the eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Like, I thought the whole episode was very well done. Like, it was very well directed. Just like the finale. The finale, other than the damn cliffhanger, I thought was one of the best episodes in the history of the show because I have never sat on the edge of my seat like that for anything else.
To be perfectly honest, after seeing the season 7 premiere, I don't think that I could have been prepared if it had happened at the end of season 6.
Right.
It would have been, I think it would have been too much.
Yeah. I could agree with that. As intense as it was by itself, then you add in the intensity and the brutality of what we saw. It probably would have just been too much.
Yeah.
JP, I don't know if Granny Nana could have taken all that.
Dude, she's done with the show now. Or so she says. I don't think she's seen I'm sure she's read a bunch of spoilers, but yeah, they're just killing off everybody. I ain't gonna
It's hard to believe who we've got left from season 1. You've got Carl, Rick, and Daryl. That's it, right? That's the only 3 left from season 1.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody else. Name any characters and we'll see. I think obviously Shane's dead, Lori's dead. I think that our only 3 left now are Rick, Daryl, and Carl. I think everyone else. Oh, and Carol.
And
yes,
Morgan.
So 4.
Morgan,
Morgan, I guess. I keep forgetting about him because you only saw him once. But so you've only got like those 5. I don't know why I don't imagine Carol in that because they got the picture of
she's a much different person now.
Mm-hmm. She really is. You don't recognize her. And speaking of Carol, how do you think that's going to play out? Do you think she's going to make it through season 7?
Yeah, I think she's just having a moment of weakness, but I think she'll pick it back up.
So as we wrap this thing up, what do you guys expect / want to see out of season 7? Starting with Matt.
Ooh, I want to see all the communities band together to form a plan of action against Negan.
Right.
Obviously.
JP? Let's keep the bat butt rape to a minimum here and
define minimum. No, I'd like to see Negan shave. I think he's got wonderful cheeks and a great jawline. I think that'd be really good for the show. I would like to see the tiger. I want to see somebody riding that tiger, Ezekiel's tiger. And
that'll be Morgan.
Like right here, I've got a computer between JP and my face, and
I'm kind of like Wilson, aren't I?
You're bouncing up and down while you're saying this.
I think Morgan's gonna be riding that tiger.
I hope so.
Maybe Morgan and Carol are gonna hook up.
They put a saddle on it, like
you don't think so?
I think it's gonna be Morgan and Ezekiel.
You're right. More than one interracial couple. That's just too
I like
much.
your bow staff.
I like your tiger.
Lord have mercy. Hopefully we'll see the Whisperers will start getting revealed towards the end of the season.
I might be wrong, but I thought I saw a promo picture with a head on a stake that said "You've been warned" or something, written under it. I have to check into that.
I almost wish we could just do a whole nother podcast just for the comic. The comic is getting so good right now.
It really is. We could do that if you wanted to.
We could.
I mean, we could start.
Do you think they'll do the Whisper? They'll introduce them this early?
I don't think so. I mean, they might just because you don't expect them to, but I mean, I would expect it. Maybe they're going to mix it up, instead of doing the one villain type thing, they're going to, or maybe just start hinting, we might see a little bit of them as we move through the season, but they won't become a major threat until season 8 or so.
Because they brought the governor in a lot earlier than I expected, so you never know.
It's just because fans were calling. Like Negan, I could have seen them probably stalling a little longer on Negan if they really wanted to, but fans have basically been begging for Negan since the governor was offed.
And I mean, last night's episode was a representation of issue 100, right? Mm-hmm. And they're on 159 was the latest issue.
I think that's right.
So I mean, they're
catching up.
The show's catching up, but the comics are still a little ways away. I mean,
they still got plenty of material to draw on, man. We could definitely do if any of you listening are comic fans, if we can get enough feedback to know that people would listen. If you want to hear a podcast where we talk solely about the comic alongside this, we're more than happy to do that.
Speaking of which, if you're into digital comics, Image right now is selling the Walking Dead collections for like $5.99 a piece.
Ooh, really?
Which are usually like $11.99.
Yeah, that's cheaper than paperback. Also.
And the individual comics are 99 cents. So
wow.
up until October 28th. So I'm going to be scooping up some of those trades.
Yeah, you really can't beat it, man.
No.
Especially even the $2.99 price for the regular, like as they come out, issues is still really good in comparison to like I'm paying like $4.99 or $3.99 for Captain America. So
Yeah, Marvel, they're pretty much set at $3.99.
Civil War is like $4.99.
That's crazy to
Yeah.
me.
DC's towing the line at $2.99, but now they have, most issues come out twice
a
monthly,
month, so they're just making up for it.
I mean,
you know?
you're getting more story, but you're still dropping $6 a title. So,
But yeah, so The Walking Dead very fairly priced, especially to be as big of a show as it is. I'm proud of them for not just going, okay, well now we're going to jack the rates up.
And it's awesome that they have a sale that the show is back on the air.
So go check it out, and I appreciate you fellas joining me. Hopefully, maybe we can all be a family next week, and we can. With this one, we will try to do after. We'll do it in the evening. Next time to try to get you guys in.
Yeah, Matt and I are night owls, so you understand.
Mr. Dawson's regards.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he's doing something very important with his precious time.
He referred to himself as the better Matt.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I heard that.
I still haven't listened to what you guys did this morning.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
I'm kind of disappointed.
I had to
Look, I cannot find my effects. This is a delayed effect. When he said,
I'm not on it. Do I really need to listen to it?
The support would be great.
I don't know.
Oh, man. So that was awesome. I had a great time, guys. Matt Crowder, thank you for joining us.
Oh, as
Please
always.
stop by any podcast you want to. JP.
Mwah. Mwah. 3 kisses. That's what I rate this episode. 3 kisses.
Actually, you know what? I'm glad you said that. Before we go, in the last 30 seconds here, starting with Matt, what would you grade this episode out of 10?
It is definitely going to be the episode that everyone talks about when it comes to this series.
Right.
Thus far. You got to go 10.
Okay. How about you?
Perfect 10?
Perfect 10?
Oh, I was asking if that's what you guys
I'll
were
give it a
holding
perfect
at.
10. I would honestly say probably 9.5 just because of the fact that everything leaked, but it's not really their fault.
Yeah.
So basing it solely off of the episode, the performance, the writing and everything, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10.
I mean, Rick was crying so hard that he blew snot out of his nose. I mean, that is acting right there.
Snot rockets were flying.
And Negan showed a practical side.
Yeah.
When he had Carl lay his arm out there, he measured it.
Yeah.
He
He
asked
marked
for
it
the
off.
pin, yeah.
Measured twice, cut once.
Man. JP, what do you rate it?
See, that's one thing that's going to come into play. Rick's eventually going to see that mark on his arm and realize that he was the one who was going to get his arm cut off.
I think you're looking for Fight. I think you're looking for Fight Club.
I think that I should
Walking
rate it
Dead.
like a 12 just because I read all the underlying stuff that's going on that kind of went over your guys'
Two
head.
10s and a 12. They came out good here from the podcasting dead. So, and hey, be listening soon. Coming up, we plan to do a Doctor Strange review and discussion, rating, all that good stuff coming up here in like the next week or two.
The podcasting dead, we're really expanding.
Yeah, I think we were trying to come up with a full name to do all of them, but I think we're just going to keep the podcasting dead, and then we'll just do things under this title. So, stay tuned. Lots of fun things coming, and we'll see you next week. He's going to sneeze. We're going to end with that. Do it.
It's gone. Sorry.
Such a disappointment.